slowing life down just a little bit.
Welcome to the Hopefulist, a daily talk show hosted by veteran broadcaster Wendy McClure. Join Wendy each day as she shares her life lessons that transformed her from perpetual pessimist to the ultimate hopefulist. The perfect morning show to get you caught up on the day's top stories while sharing insights that will lead to positive transformation and bring out the hopefulist in you. For more inspiration, visit Hopefulist.com. And now, here's your host and hopefulist, Wendy McClure.
Well, hello there, and welcome to the Hopefulist. Thank you for joining me for your daily dose of inspiration and positivity. I am back from vacation. Did you miss me terribly? I missed you all terribly. And I did check in on social media from time to time. I was attempting to unplug, but it didn't work out the way that I had hoped. Now, I did lessen my time on social media dramatically. I really just kind of checked in the morning a little bit, and then occasionally I was posting a couple of pictures on my own personal page on Facebook and Instagram. And, I realize, and I'm sure, you all realize this too, that part of the addiction of social media is posting. Because once you post, you want to keep checking in to see if anybody's liking, commenting, what have you. So the less you post, the less addicted you will feel. We all like to share things, and it's great to do. But when we do it too often, that's when it becomes a problem. Just some words of wisdom from something you've probably already known for some time, and I'm just figuring out. The quote of the day today comes from Paul Loeb. We become human only in the company of other human beings. And this involves both opening our hearts and giving voice to our deepest convictions. When we shrink from the world, our souls shrink too. Spend time with people, in person, face to face, not only online. It is not the same thing at all. So as you know, I was in the Outer Banks for the past week, and one of the most exciting parts of the trip to me was the fact that we went horseback riding. And we went horseback riding on the beach. I've never been horseback riding before. It's something I've been wanting to do for many, many years. And it's just one of those things you're like, well, I'll get to it. No more getting to it. Just do it. So we made arrangements as a group. We all went. Excuse me. On vacation, it was me and my husband, my sister and her husband, my brother and his wife. My niece joined us at one time, and we had our dogs. Well, my sister didn't bring her dogs, but we had two dogs on my brother's side. We had Ruffin and Abby, and then, of course, my Tucker girl came. She did not handle the ride down very well. She got a little sick, a little bad belly, so we say, and we spent the first couple of days making sure that she was feeling better. And then she started to bounce back a little bit, and then hence another 8-hour ride in the car. She's okay now. I think that she's much more calm now that she's at home. But we all decided to go horseback riding as a group. Not the dogs, of course not. Except for my husband. He had no interest in horseback riding whatsoever, which is fine. If he doesn't want to go, he doesn't have to go. So we went, and since it was my first time, I was giving a very slow horse named Cinco. Now, they told me that Cinco was a bit overweight, that he had already lost 30 pounds, but he still had about 50 to go. And I told Cinco that he was beautiful just as he is. So I spent my 2 hours plus on Cinco telling him how wonderful I thought he was and how great I thought that he was. But Cinco was very slow, very slow. So in the line of order, we had the lead instructor, then 3 people ahead of me. And Cinco just kept, lollygagging, and there would be these long breaks in between the person in front of me and me. I kept trying. Now, there was an instructor in the front and an instructor in the back. And she came up to me at one point. She's like, you got to give him big kicks. So that's what I said. I'm going to dream of this my whole life. All I kept hearing was the woman in the back going, big kicks, meaning kick the horse to get him to go a little bit faster. And I just felt so bad. They're like, yeah, he's 1,000 pounds. He barely feels it. You're just giving him a little nudge to get him going. But yet I still couldn't do it like with my legs. And I just, I wasn't sure where exactly I was supposed to be kicking. Like I said, I'd never done this before. So when we first head out to the trail, Cinco's, kind of lollygagging, like I said. And then I wasn't real good with steering him either. Kept going off to one side. And at one point, the woman came up. She's like, you got to pull down. You're pulling up. You're telling him to stop. Like, I was like, I'm sorry. Please don't scold me. I've never done this before. So what I did realize by the end is, and they did keep saying this, they are pack animals. So Cinco would just follow the animal in front of him pretty much regardless of how I steered. If I steered him off course, then he would go off course. But if I just kind of let him do his thing, he would follow right along. And at one point, the other instructor had told me, take the reins and kind of whip them back and forth, like on each side of the saddle. And that'll help get him going as well. And again, I'm like, I feel bad. She's like, he won't. She said, trust me, you're doing him a favor. You're going to make him go a little bit faster, and he has 50 pounds to lose, so you're helping him out. And that kind of worked. He's kind of stayed up with the rest of the group a little bit better after that. And a couple of times he started to trot. And I was like, oh, no, not that fast. Slow down. So I've never been on a horse before, and I can tell you, when they speed up like that, I felt like I was going to fall off. And I didn't fall. I felt a number of times like I was going to fall off. And I did not fall off once, nor did anyone in our group fall off. So I guess it's just one of those things where it feels like it's, I mean, I know you can fall off a horse, but it's, I guess, not as common as you would think when you first get on one and you feel like you're just going to fall straight off to the side. So it was an amazing experience, and I'm so glad that I finally got to do it. And my niece got some very cool pictures of me when I wasn't looking, which is nice, which is one of the pictures that I posted today. She took a picture of me from behind. The poor girl had to be behind me and Cinco the whole time. Like I said, we were slowing down the whole group. Now, she was on Levi, who had a mind of his own, and he was right up in Cinco's business almost the entire time. And I felt a little bad for Cinco. I was like, Levi could get out of your grill. And when I say grill, I mean grill in the back. But Levi kind of started giving my niece Samantha a bit of a hard time towards the end. Started taking a little snack from the trees as we were heading back. But it was a really, really, really good time. So if there are some things on your bucket list that you've been meaning to do, like I said, I've been saying that for years. I'll get to it. I finally got to it, and I'm so glad that I did because, not to be morbid, you just never know when your time will run out. And it's not even death that I'm talking about. I'm talking about, maybe you just don't have the physicality that you once had. I mean, riding a horse is kind of strenuous, and it was tough for a couple of days after. I didn't feel as bad as I thought that I would, but I did go in the hot tub that night when we got home. So maybe that helped a bit. So that was one of many amazing experiences that I had while I was in the Outer Banks. I'm going to tell you just a little story about one time we were all on the beach, and you're allowed to bring your pets on the beach with you in the Outer Banks, where, in Jersey, you're not really allowed to do that. So Tucker had already been taken up to the house because she is not good with other dogs. She just barks and she gets crazy. I mean, frankly, it's embarrassing. So we had tried to bring her up to the beach for a little bit, and she just got because there's just dogs everywhere because everybody's walking their dogs. So we had already taken her up to the house, and we saw this woman walking. And I was a little annoyed at first because she didn't have them on a leash, which you're supposed to have them on a leash. It's just one of my little pet peeves. I really, really don't like it when people don't have their dogs on the leash, mostly because, like I said, my dog freaks out. And if your dog runs up to my dog and my dog snaps at your dog, you're going to be like, well, your dog started it. I'm going to be like, well, your dog wasn't on a leash. I could keep my dog away from your dog because mine wasn't on a leash. Anyway, I saw this woman with 2 Yorkies, and they're coming up on us. And the one Yorkie saw our group and just started tearing up the beach toward us. Like, I'm coming. One of them was a puppy, and I think the other one was full grown, but they were both very tiny dogs. And this little Yorkie comes up, and she just starts jumping on everybody and licking everybody. And it was just so cool. I was like, so when the woman was still walking up, and I would have been a nervous wreck if my dog would have been doing that, running up to a group of people. I'd be like running after her and being like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Oh my God, get back here. All that. No, she just let these 2 dogs roam at their own will. So when she was walking up towards us and she got closer, I said, so finders keepers, right? Oh my gosh, those dogs were adorable. And that was definitely one of the highlights of the week for me. I just look back and think that little dog was like, I'm coming. So darn cute. Maybe you had to be there. Sorry if I've gone on too long about the dog, but so super cute. I will probably regale you with stories of my trip for the next week, so be prepared. I can't show you, well, I can show you vacation pictures, but this is my way of boring you with my vacation. But I have finished and completed boring you for today, and I will move on to the topic. I wanted to hear from you. Scary movies, yay or nay? For me, it's a big old nay. I do not like scary movies. I have talked about the fact before. I just don't like to be afraid. I don't like to get scared. It's not exciting to me. It's not fun for me. In fact, I would go as far to say as I hate being scared. So I wanted to hear from you. Marcy says, no. Why would I do that to myself? Mary says, depends. Cheryl says, not interested at all. Michelle says, no freaking way, which is interesting to me because I know she used to love scary movies as a kid. Linda says, yes, but during the day. I got a heck no from Megan. And, I think that in this little informal poll of mine, the no's edge out the yeses by just a tad. Couple of people, hell yes, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, well, maybe you're going to be in hell when you're watching that movie. I frankly don't like to be scared. So we're going to be talking about scary / Halloween-themed things all week. Halloween is on Saturday. Are you dressing up this year? Do you have an opportunity to have a gathering or go to a gathering where people will be in costume? Are you handing out candy? Are you taking the kids trick-or-treating or trunk-or-treating? We're going to be doing a little bit of fun Halloween stuff throughout this whole week. The blog post today is about slowing life down just a little bit. We all seem to feel that life goes by way too fast. I think I discovered a way to slow it down a bit, or at least make the most of the life we lead. While on vacation in the Outer Banks, I decided I was going to make the most of my time there. I wanted to make sure I enjoyed my time and did things that would be memorable. We have vacationed there in the past, and it's always been amazing. It always seems to go by too fast, though. I left this year feeling refreshed, renewed, and satisfied. Of course, it always depends on the weather, and we were blessed with good weather this year, but I wanted to make sure to get out of the house and take advantage of all that I could. There have been years that we sat around the house most of the week, and that is okay, but those are the times that I have often felt like my vacation wasn't long enough, that I didn't do enough, that feeling that I didn't get the ultimate experience. Don't get me wrong. Sitting around the house playing games was one of my favorite parts of the week. We laughed so hard while playing a game one night, my jaw actually hurt. You know, the type of laughing that makes your stomach hurt? Yeah, that was it. And it felt so good. But we also did more this year than we typically do. First, we did the horseback riding on the beach. So, of course, as you know, I was very super excited about that. I went to the beach more than I usually do. You know, I'm usually happy to just sit on the deck and look at the beach. But we went to the beach almost every day this year. In turn, that led me to taking a dip in the hot tub when we returned from the beach, another activity I don't usually partake in. I feel like I got so much more out of this vacation than in years past, just in the sense that I felt totally satisfied when the week came to an end and it was time to go home. Don't get me wrong, I could have stayed a little bit longer, but I don't feel I was as sad to leave as I usually am. So what was the difference? I think for me it was the fact that I really took advantage of my surroundings. Hitting the beach, Cinco taking me for a ride, lounging in the hot tub, games with family that produced many laughs and bragging rights. My husband and I won the very first game of Trivial Pursuit. Yes, there was more games after that, but we won the first one. Another thing I did this year was just sit and be. It's one of the things I love the most about being on the beach. It's one of the only places where I can sit and just watch the waves, listen to the sounds, and let my mind wander without feeling the need to read, have my head in the phone, or having to talk. It's time to just be. But I also took the time to do that outside of the beach. Beverly, who was staying a couple of doors down from us, requested that we turn our outside lights off at night so they could see the meteor shower better. Meteor shower? I was not aware there was a meteor shower taking place. We looked up the info, and indeed, there was a shower that was peaking last week. I don't know if you've ever had the chance to go to the Outer Banks, but if you do, make sure you do some stargazing. It is one of my favorite things to do there. The sky is already amazing, with more stars than I've ever seen. I often compare it to that scene in The Lion King when Timon and Pumbaa and Simba are just sitting there looking up at the sky, and it's like, you know, dotted with a million stars. That's how it looks in the Outer Banks, for real. But if I had the chance to see some shooting stars, well, it got me a little bit even more excited. I decided to get up at 5 a.m. on the last 2 days I was there to stare up at the sky and just be. My sister got up with me. We had periods of just looking up. We both saw shooting stars. I saw one each day. I was satisfied with that. And, you know, I tended to at one point be like, oh, I can't believe I just saw one after staring up for 2 hours. Okay, you know what? I saw one. Yay! That's what I wanted. And then there was times that the two of us would just be chatting about life. The sunrise, that is, was taking place around 7:15, so we had a lot of time to take it all in. We sat there with our coffee, relaxed. It is truly amazing to watch the black sky full of stars lighten up slowly and then see the sunrise. I think that gave more satisfaction than I've had in the past, just sitting and appreciating, doing something that made me appreciate the world and all it has to offer. You can't get more basic than the sky, stars, moon, and sun. But how do we translate that to everyday life, though? Sure, it's easier to unplug while we're on vacation. But we have to carve out time to take a moment in our regular lives. We make sure to do something that will give us a chance to sit and think and appreciate all that we have. Are you in a position to watch a sunrise or sunset? If so, do it. The magic of nature always makes me so in awe of life. But you can get the same result by doing things that bring you peace and comfort on a regular basis. Can you carve out some time to do something every day or almost every day that will make you stop and just appreciate? For example, take a bath. My niece told me while on vacation that she takes a bath every single day. What a way to unwind and let your thoughts flow. But it can be anything that brings you a sense of peace or even a sense of wonder. Listen to some new music and marvel at how all these individual instruments come together to make something so beautiful. Grab a book and sit in your favorite spot with a comfy blanket and a cup of tea. And every once in a while, just look up from your book. Look down at your comfy blanket and your mug of tea. And just think, this is nice. This is really nice. Watch less TV and social media. Do more things that feed your soul. It will slow things down for you. One of the reasons we feel life goes so fast is because we have sped it up with technology. We all tend to want to be doing something every single second. I tend to pick up my phone or book during the commercials of a show I'm watching. I know I'm probably one of the last people who actually watches network TV and has to sit through commercials. But try to dedicate your time to one specific thing. If you want to read, put the phone away. If you want to watch TV, put the book away. If you want to listen to music, sit down in a place without distractions. If you like to read in the bath, put the book down for the last 5 minutes of the bath and just dream. My favorite thing to do in the tub is to pretend stress is oozing out of my fingers and toes. I'll just lay there and have all of my fingers and toes pointing the same way, and I just release the stress. Release the stress. I also like to practice visualization in the tub. For some reason, it's always been a place where I can dream of the life I really want to live. Actors do this all the time when they are trying for a role. They visualize themselves in the role they want and see themselves acting it out. This is good to do for the life we want as well. And for some reason, it's always been easy for me to do that in the bath. Find the things that tend to slow things down for you in life and do them more often. When you notice the things around you, that's what makes life slow down just a little bit and gives you more of a sense of satisfaction. Just give it a try and be intentional in how often you do it. Any change is hard, even when the change is good for you. So don't give up on it too soon. Oh, it is Monday, my favorite day after Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. It is a brand new week full of possibilities and opportunities. Now go make the most of them and be your badass self. I'm right here cheering you on.
Thank you for listening to The Hopefulist, hosted by Wendy McClure. For more inspiration, please visit Hopefulist.com. Thanks, and we'll see you tomorrow on The Hopefulist.
Big kicks, big kicks.